They don't want to have to answer for why they charge what they charge. Oh, you want to know why an air conditioner costs this much? Well, it's because we have a 50% tariff on tin, copper, and steel that hasn't been removed even though tariffs have been paused. But you have to take control of the narrative. And the giants in your area, the chuck in a truck in your area, ain't gonna do it. There's a needle that we can thread for the foreseeable future. If we take control of the narrative, we're going to capitalize and gain market share because of it. Your team wants to grow. And the more we can make someone's scroll time feel like productivity and not paperwork, the better off we're gonna be. You have one decision, which is what to do with your time. How do you leverage time? You can either spend a decade being a dumbass and figuring it out on your own, or you can talk to somebody smarter than you and read a book that you hadn't thought of, and you can be better in a year than what would have taken you a decade to figure out on your own. I got to spend some time speaking to a room full of contractors at the International Roundtable in San Antonio, talking about something that is near and dear to my heart at Yarbrough & Sons, also near and dear to our heart at GetSuite, which is transparent pricing. Talking to a room full of contractors as to how they could leverage the truth, leverage transparency, essentially weaponizing the truth so that they can win in this fast-moving world of AI. So, if you're curious kind of what we're doing here at Yarbrough & Sons and kind of what we have planned for at GetSuite, we want you to join the discussion and get real-time insights as to what we're doing here at Yarbrough & Sons, what our service techs are doing in the field, what we're doing with marketing, what we see coming down the pipeline as far as what offers are and aren't working. We're giving you unfettered access to our entire management team here at Yarbrough & Sons at our school account. That is the Yarbrough Academy. That's school.com/Yarbrough. That's SKOOL.com/Yarbrough, YARBROUGH. We'll see you there. Can tell me what their net profit was last month. Last month?
That's cheating.
I need a hand.
That's cheating.
Last month? Okay, what about, let's go back one previous, maybe we haven't closed the books. What about February? Who can tell me February's net profits? Okay, keep your hand up. Okay, if you know your profit from February or from March, if you know your net profit, tell me, keep your hand up, if a technician or an installer knows what your net profit was in one of those 2 months. Okay? Bang, bang, that's what I'm looking for. Okay, now keep your hand up if you can tell me if a customer can go to your website and see why you charge what you charge and the reasoning behind it. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. It is. It will be. It will be in the next 48 hours. So, all right, so by the time we were done, we had about 4 hands up. Okay. So, the transparency advantage, how to weaponize the truth and win. So, I'm Tucker Yarbrough, Yarbrough & Sons Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing out of Blanchard, Oklahoma. It's a little bedroom community about 30 minutes southwest of the OKC area. We are kind of surrounded by one of the largest privately held bison ranches in the country. So we are the introduction place of the North American bison after it was close to extinction. That's kind of our claim to fame. It protects us from the city, but it also keeps our town nice and small. We got a population of about 12,000 people. We do about $12 million a year. We've got 54 people who work for us. About half of our revenue comes from within about a 15-mile radius of our shop. The rest of it comes from the metro area. We're actively expanding, adding locations, things like that. And today what we're going to talk about is the transparency advantage, how you can weaponize the truth and win. Oftentimes, guys, the old way of doing things was, well, distributors were very quick to tell us, don't put your pricing on your website. Don't tell your team what the profit was because they're going to think you're getting rich. And side note, they think that anyway if you're not telling them what the score is. They think that Darren and Lisa Yarbrough are sitting on the beach drinking Mai Tais every other weekend because, as Cody knows, that's exactly what is happening. Right? Wrong. But the old way of doing things was keep a closed book. Play the game close to your vest. Make sure that you know what the score is, but no one else does because that's privileged information. The new way of doing things, we've heard a lot of talk about AI, and I'm going to spare you from the talk of AI today. We're going to talk about blocking and tackling, how you can actually implement this and take it home and do things with it right now. So, the thing that we're doing now is you need to let your team know what the score is. Show them the scoreboard. The scoreboard is everything. Everybody wants to play for a winning team. How many NFL fans do we have in the room? Okay, college football fans? All right. Alabama and New England have been having a hell of a time for the last 20 years. They've been having a great time. It's fun to play for and root for a winning team. Would you agree? Yes. Yes. Holy cow, yes. But how can we let our team know? How can our team know that they're playing for a winning team without showing them the scoreboard, right? And I'm not saying you have to completely show them, all right, here's how much we paid in taxes last year. But they need to know the direction. They need to know the vision. They need to see why we're doing what we're doing, because without that, they're going to have a lot of questions. If it's good, they're going to think, oh, it's real good. And if it's a little bad, they're going to think, I might need to look for a different job. So That's kind of where we're at, the old way versus the new way. We want our public pricing. We want everything, or pricing public. We want everything that we do to be out there for a customer to see, because we've heard the talk of AI. Everybody's searching, how much does XYZ cost in XYZ city? If you search that right now, you're going to get an AI overview. It's going to cite 3 to 4 contractors. Hopefully, actually, it's probably not going to cite 3 to 4 contractors. What it's going to do right now is it's going to cite Home Depot, Angie's List, and if you're in the OKC metro area, it's going to cite Yarbrough and Sons. Because every blog that we post has a pricing breakdown as to why we charge what we charge and what the margins on that is. Our bet is, and has been, and has proven successful to us, is that the more transparent we are with our team, the more transparent we are with our customers, the more success we will find in the long run. So, Steve Jobs had this whole idea of creating other. How many of us have iPhones? iPhones? Most of us? Okay, most of us have iPhones. How many of us elitist iPhone users hate whenever you get a green bubble text message? Okay, all right. It's getting better. You know, there's more acceptance now. It's a better culture. Nature is healing. But Steve Jobs wanted to create other. He didn't want to talk about why the competition was different. He didn't want to talk about what was happening with the competition, why Microsoft would fail, or why they were the better version of insert tech product. He created other. And how did he do that? He created a walled garden. The walled garden was the blue bubble. It was iMessage. So now every iPhone user, they want to be able to get that interactive text. They want to be able to see who's, loving a message as opposed to sending a heart emoji, because for some reason in our kindergarten brains that makes some sort of difference. But he wanted to create other. So us as contractors have to focus on creating other. We've got to figure out, you could buy, the young plumbing team, she talked about it today. She said, you could buy a water heater from anywhere. You can buy an air conditioner from anywhere. For a case of beer and a joint, you can get a lot done. But who does the work matters more. And the only way we could do that is by creating other. And one of the ways that we create other is doing things that no one else will do. We got to zig when our customer, or when the industry zags. So the turning point. So 2019, 2020, we knew we wanted to change something. And what that something was we wanted our team to understand what success looked like, how we were doing the business game, how we were playing the game. And how we wanted to do that, we robbed and duplicated. We didn't reinvent the wheel. I'm sharing wisdom that I've aggregated from other Service Nation contractors. Nothing is new under the sun. Solomon tells us that in Ecclesiastes. So one, we knew that we needed to share the vision, where we were going, what the plan was, and how we could win. But the way we needed to do that was show the numbers. Show our numbers to our team, show our numbers to the customer. But we're going to start with the team. We wanted to show them our cost of goods, our revenue, our gross profit, line by line. Then we lump sum the overhead. We don't go through I feel like I'm getting trapped by this over here, so I'm moving over here. I'm a mover. So we didn't want to go through line by line what overhead was. We share with them, hey, it's insurance, it's keep the lights on, it's paying uniforms. We share what it is, but not the actual numbers, right? And then over the last 5 years, we've watched it click. So here's basically what it looks like. If we were in a profit sharing breakfast together, which is what we do every month, we share the numbers with the team. The first 5 months that we started this, it was November, December, January, February, March. In Oklahoma, I don't know if you know this, we have useless winters and we lose money more often than not in those months. Now I'm happy to say that we break even more often than not in those months. But whenever we first started, it was losing money hand over fist. So I got to stand up in front of the whole team and say, guys, don't worry. This was planned for. Okay. So we go through, we say the revenue lines. We'll go department by department. We say, here's how much we made in residential replacement. Here's how much we made in service. Here's how much we made in plumbing. Here's how much it costs to do those things. We put the KPIs out beside it. Here's how much we expect to spend to make this amount of money. Matter of fact, here's how much labor we have. We want to spend 18% in labor. That's all the field labor. We show that to them. If it's high, if it's low, we explain why. We walk down to the net profit line, and away we go. The scorecard before was, I feel like I deserve a raise, Tucker. How many of us hate having raise conversations if we don't have performance pay involved? How many of us have performance pay involved? Okay, outstanding. So, performance pay involved. All right. If we're just paying some sort of hourly, we get to have a conversation on a relatively frequent basis of, Janine, I'm your best technician. I think I deserve a raise.
I've been here for a year.
Okay, all right, I've been here for a year, I deserve a raise. After, because our team knows the score, we created a scorecard for every one of our technicians. What their labor rate should be, what they should expect on their flips, what they should expect on their membership conversions, and they're paid accordingly. I haven't had to have a raise conversation with any of our technicians in over 2 years because they know how the game is played. They're in charge of their own destiny. I've cut makeup checks every year for the last 2 years to the tune of the low end, about $2,000 to a technician who I owed money to, and about $8,000 to a technician who I owed money to, because they generated more revenue than what we paid them. We pay 25% of what they generate in the truck. So if their labor rate comes in under that, we cut them a makeup check. If they're a 1.5 below 25, we cut them a makeup check. Now, if they're a 1.5 above, we give them a quarter to adjust. We say, hey, we got to get this squared up. We need production. Here's where you're at. Your labor rate's too high. We got to get it back in line. Now, if after another quarter we get to have a fun conversation, which is, hey, we got to lower your pay by X amount, and here's why. We've had 2 conversations like that. Both technicians are still with us. One of the 2 technicians has already gotten a raise that surpassed his cut. He surpassed where he was at after or before that conversation. So, the moment that it clicked, basically, this is the exact same story. He's a 6-figure technician now. He went from about a $65,000 technician to about a $105,000 technician because he knew the score. He knew how the game was played. He knew what the company was doing. He also knew what was expected of him. That is the transparency advantage. Whenever you give your team the ammunition to make decisions, execute, and move fast, they're going to take that vision and they're going to run with it. Because people like to feel in control. People don't want to feel like, well, I'm stuck here. I'm doing this thing. And I'm a sports nut. I love the NFL. I got to be honest, I kind of can't stand the game of baseball, but I love the numbers behind baseball, because if you're in business, you should love the numbers of baseball. It's fantastic. It's a game that's won in the aggregate. And whenever we understand how we can play the game and why the game is played the way that it is, the money ends up on the field and not in the back office. Our installers, our technicians, our plumbers should be the highest paid people in the organization. And that's what we're achieving right now. And it's by giving them the keys to say, hey, here's how you monetize your seat. Here's how you make more money. Here's the path to financial freedom for you and your family. And then if we have a conversation like we've had with a technician who wants to go do his own thing, he's now starting a branch in Edmond for us. We gave a pathway. We gave incentive. He's going to get gross profit bonuses, essentially is what it is. But he's still protected by his labor rate. And, the profit sharing breakfast. We get to do the whole team. I wanted to show stats. I told you I love the stats behind baseball, right? Here's the stats of our menu. 118 eggs, 12 pounds of sausage, 15 pounds of bacon, 10 pounds of potatoes, and I missed it, but we cook also 4 pounds of onions alongside that to throw in the potatoes. You need it. It's a game changer. So the format, everyone eats first, then I show the numbers. We walk through why. Good month, bad month. They see the numbers. Here you go. There's some photos of the team. We do not have it cooked in a commercial kitchen because I did not want to have to deal with commercial kitchen regulations. So we bring out the propane cookers like we're having a camp out inside the warehouse and cook all the numbers and share it with our team. We feed 54 people. We always have a little bit of leftovers, and I love taking a doggy bag of bacon to go. So we're a profit sharing company. You can get buy-in from your team through performance pay, but you can also get buy-in from your team based on profit sharing. And what we do with profit sharing is any month that we make 6% net profit or more, we take 10% of the total profits, put it into a profit sharing fund. Last year we paid out $185,000. The technicians who are on the performance pay that I discussed do not participate in the profit sharing. And they know why. Because they're getting their cash up front. They're making 20 grand, 30 grand in commissions. They know what the game is. But we paid out $185,000 last year. Managers got about 6 grand. Lead installers, lead plumbers got about 4 grand, and apprentices got 2. The plumbers have performance pay as well, but because we're so nascent in our plumbing, I wanted to make sure that we were throwing them a bone as well. We have never taken money out of the profit sharing fund. Because any money or any month that your company loses money, I got to be honest, it's an us problem. It's a you problem. It's a contractor problem. Unless there's a glaring issue of Bryce, not performing the way that he should, or Kim actively robbing from the company, which is going to cause its own problems. Any month that we lose money is an us problem, right? It's a lead flow problem. We didn't generate enough leads. Is that a technician or a plumber's fault? Okay. We didn't convert the way that we should have. Is that a technician or a plumber's fault? I don't know that it is. I think it's an us problem. If they didn't convert, they didn't get trained. Our technicians, our team will never rise to the level of our expectation. They will default to the level of their preparedness. And if they have not been trained, it is not their fault that they didn't convert. So we've never taken money out of the profit sharing fund. So we've had a stinker of a month. Completely candid, commercial took a dive for us the first quarter of this month or this year. We broke even Q1, but let me tell you what, January, I thought we had a hell of a hole to climb out of. We lost about $200,000 in January because commercial was down 95%. Holy cow. If you ever need a testimony as to why not to do commercial, we've been transitioning over the last 5 years to be all residential. That's why. But we've never taken money out of the profit sharing fund because it's not our team's fault. So they need to know why we had a bad month though. And we explain the why. We're very clear and candid with that. Now,
Can I stop you real
yes,
quick?
ma'am.
I think the reason a lot of people get scared, and I know you have a lot going on, so as quickly
Yeah.
as you can. It's not successful when you just throw it out there. It's
Yeah.
a transition. They even get nervous seeing the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how did you go about it? Did you show a couple people first so they could be your cheerleaders?
No, so we just started.
Your process.
Yep, so we just started. So we have a phrase, this is what we take in our marketing as well. So if you look us up on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, it is a mountain of content, all video first content. We will die on whatever treadmill we decide to step foot on. And so our thought process is we're gonna just start this treadmill, take off running, and if anybody churns out because of this, then so be it, the universe is taking care of them. And maybe they weren't our team member to begin with. And we're just gonna keep doing this in this format and earn the trust of the people. And first few months, glazed over eyes, information going overhead, people didn't care.
Yeah.
Now, and even yet, guys, like most people don't care. Most of the team doesn't. They care more about the breakfast than they do the numbers.
Okay.
Like, they don't care. But you have those core leaders who grab onto it. You're going to identify the folks who are go-getters. You're going to identify the folks who want more because they're going to be the guys who are leaning in, looking up, and nodding along with you as you walk through those numbers. And so it wasn't like this slow rollout, but whether to our benefit or our detriment, that's just kind of the Yarbrough & Sons way. We took Facebook in the early days, Mark Zuckerberg had a saying, which is move fast and break things. And that's kind of what we do, is we move fast and break things, whether it's to the benefit or the detriment. Now, we've got the double innuendo here, which is taking it to the customers. Taking it to the customers sometimes means, in old sales, it was like, oh, we're going to, screw them over. We're going to take it to the customers. But here with the transparency model, and what I mean by why you need to be transparent, not just with your team, because your team, whenever you take the transparency approach, needs to know why you charge what you charge, what the margins are on everything you have. Because when a customer is asking, hey, why is this so expensive? Would you rather have a tech go, the company, this is just what the company charges. This is what my boss tells me that we should charge. I don't set the pricing rules. Or would you rather have a technician say, well, in our pricing, it's 25% labor, 30% for parts and materials, 30% overhead, and 15% profit. That shuts people up pretty quick because the truth wins. There's no hiding behind the number whenever the truth wins. So if your technicians are empowered with the margin, the reasoning behind why they charge what they charge, well, then we can take it to the customer. So on every blog that we publish for your website team, whoever you're using, don't care who you're using, on every single blog, every single service page that you have, if it's a plumbing page, put water heater price ranges. You don't have to be exact, but give them a price range. On every single AC page, put a price range. 1 ton, this much to this much. 2 ton, this much to this much. 40-gallon water heater, this much to this much. Why? And I said I'd spare you the AI, but I'm going to sprinkle it in like a little bit of Salt Bae. Okay, we're just going to, little taste here. AI is not artificial intelligence, it is aggregated intelligence. It is only going to do what it can do based off the training data that is out there, right? So if we want the AI to say something specific, how do we make it say something specific? We better have a mountain of content out there that says the thing that we wanted to say, or else we're going to let Angie's List and Home Depot dictate the narrative of our damn industry. And that'll kill all of us. So we better take control of that narrative. So on every blog, we have pricing. Not only do we have pricing on the blog, we have an entire blog page dedicated to why we charge what we charge and the margins therein. Because the truth wins. If somebody's turned off by that, they're not our customer. I don't care. There's a Chuck in the truck right down the road who will take them on, and we'll go fix their mistakes, and they'll be willing to pay our price after the fact. Then we have the videos. Videos on why we charge what we charge. Walking through, hey, here's how much an air conditioner costs. Here's why it costs this much. Hey, here's what's happened in the industry, Mr. and Mrs. Homeowner. We've got tariffs. We've got the EPA. We've got scammers out there that are causing this. We've got labor shortages. Here's why the thing that we do costs so much. It's trying to justify our pricing. It's educating. We want to educate everybody because in today's market, everybody is looking at an LLM. They're reading a book. They're reading a Facebook page. They're going to a community forum, trying to do some sort of education so that they're well armed for their purchase decision. How many of you guys, if you went to a car dealership website and it said call for pricing, are going to call for pricing?
I know it's expensive.
One guy. All right, we got one. One. There's always one counterist. I'm bouncing off that site as quick as I came. I'm scrolling down and I'm saying, yep, nope, I don't trust them. Because the car dealerships are surely hurting, guys. They get to build those big 50,000 square foot buildings and they keep building them, so they're sure hurting. And if we're going to have the same approach, right now, with private equity, they are asleep at the wheel. They're fat, happy, got $1 trillion in the bank. They're going to keep buying companies, but they're dang sure not going to be doing this stuff. They don't want to have to answer for why they charge what they charge. So if we can become the education source, the source of truth, we own the audience. Now, this is a long-term bet. I can't tell you, hey, Cody, the minute we put a blog out there, you're going to get 100 more customers. I can't tell you that. It's not going to happen. But what you're right. Crap. That was my sales. Don't out my sales pitch, man. Nah, I can't tell you that. Actually, whenever I told you, I was like, hey, this takes some time. It's a wheel that builds. It's a snowballer. And so what happens is over time, we start to index, you start to build the narrative, and traffic starts to come your way because of it. And then if you don't have an online estimating tool, I would recommend you get one. Shameless plug. This is the only shameless plug I'm going to have in here. We do this. We just started doing this for other contractors. I'd love to talk to you about it. But an online estimate tool where somebody can get pricing from your website is imperative. That's the direction the industry is heading. Private equity is asleep at the wheel. They're not going to be doing this. Your customer is looking for this. They are searching it. If you type in AC repair OKC, water heater repair OKC, there's a snippet and a price. And that price is dictated by, right now, Home Advisor, Angie List, Home Depot. If you want to take control of it, you've got to have this mix, and you can become that cited source of authority. Yes, Colby?
I also want to add into, so with the YouTube videos, like I want to let you guys know, we're getting phone calls
From across the country.
from people that are in your cities asking if we service.
Oh, we just gave a referral to LCS in Indianapolis.
Yeah.
I don't think Travis and Renee are here. We had somebody comment and say, "Hey, I'm in Indianapolis. This is great stuff. Da 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 da. What would you? How can I avoid getting scammed?" So I wrote them a long blog. How can they avoid getting scammed? And I also said, "Hey, since you're in the Indianapolis area, we know Travis and Renee at LCS. Give them a call."
Yes, yeah.
There is an audience out there looking for this stuff, who are willing to pay your prices.
Yeah.
We've got people who call the office and take up our phone lines, much to the detriment and chagrin of Bryce, to ask our CSRs if they can talk to the guy in the video. And they want to talk to Colby about, hey, why is a York micro channel a bad idea for my home? Or why should I consider dual fuel? It's crap like that. There's an audience out there, and it's not necessarily local. And we're not playing local with some of the videos that we make. We're playing to a national audience. Why? Because we want to influence what AI is seeing and saying about our industry. So, we have a saying, the numbers change, but the margins don't. And that's the thing that we live and die by, guys. The numbers may change, but the margins don't. Because if we know what we've set our margins at, if we know why we charge what we charge, we can move that number around as best we can. But we know also, and our team knows also, why we charge what we charge and how we're trying to profit and what that actually looks like. And so when everybody involved knows why we charge what we charge, well, now your customer is educated, your technician is educated, and it removes a whole lot of the friction as to higher price sales out of the way. Because everybody involved knows why they charge what they charge. A technician asking for $700 for, a turbo capacitor and a contactor or whatever, or a contactor, well, they're going to believe that they're worth it because I want that money. And I know that Yarbrough is only making 15% off this. Okay. All right, here we go, Mr. and Mrs. Homeowner. Here's why we charge what we charge. And the ripple effect. So for your team, no more do you have the, I feel like I deserve a raise. Those conversations are gone. If they know what the scoreboard is, if they know what the scorecard says, they control their own destiny. And then I love it whenever this happens because service manager, he has the talk with the technicians, install manager has the talk with the technicians, shows them their labor rates, their labor capacity utilization, whatever the KPI is that we base it off of. And at the end of that month, have a great month. At the end of the next month, have a great month. End of the next month, they have a great month. And then they're thinking, okay, I can go ask for a raise now. And then they ask the service manager, hey, do you think I can get a raise? Service manager looks at it and says, yeah, we can give you 8%. Steven comes back to me and says, hey, Tucker, we got to raise Nick by 8%. Sounds great. Here we go. That's the conversation. There's no arguing. There's no back and forth. Technician knows why he's getting paid what he's paid. And away we go. No more, I don't like the price calls. And that's a little bit of a conjecture. You're still going to get those.
Yeah.
People who haven't gone and educated themselves. But of the customers who do go educate themselves, the customers who do convert through our online pricing tool that we've got an over 90% conversion rate whenever we get to step foot in the home. If they allow us into the house, we're closing 90% of those deals because they've educated themselves, they're armed with the truth, and we're moving forward. Techs get to think like owners. They get to think like their own profit center. They know I'm in control of X amount, whatever your labor rate is, whatever you decide to set that at, or whatever the performance pay structure is, they get to take control of, hey, here's how much I can make. Or here's how much I can afford to take off. They get to be in control, and everybody loves control. For your customers, trust is built before you ever walk in the door. They get to watch a video about you. We get parasocial relationships. People feel like they know me, Colby, and Will. And if you're not the guy who's going to be on video, if you're not the brand ambassador, find somebody who sure is and who's a long-standing person, because that person is going to build a whole lot of brand equity. Because in the world of AI, the one thing that AI isn't replacing is us. I don't even know if yet. You can do a test. I talk with my hands too much. AI, you look at what AI is doing. I mean, it can't move. It's pretty good, but it can't move its fingers yet. So, also, no sticker shock, no haggling, no 3-bid game. When people come through an online pricing tool or come through a blog that we have our pricing listed on, we are typically the only option that people are getting because we were upfront and honest. If you haven't yet, add this book to your list to read, which is They Ask, You Answer by Marcus Sheridan. If you have read it, I suggest you go back and read it, because that book was written about 10 years ago, 8 years ago, something like that. Marcus Sheridan was a pool salesman, not sure what market, but he decided, you know what? No question is out of bounds. I'm going to answer everything. So Marcus Sheridan is the guy's name. They Ask, You Answer. He started writing blogs about why a pool costs what it does, what the margins are, how much it costs to do it, how long it takes them to do it, everything that went. He then scaled that pool company up to almost a $100 million company, had a successful exit. Here we go. Bob's your uncle. Okay. But They Ask, You Answer was written 8 years ago, and it's never more relevant than it is today, which is we need to be controlling the narrative, both with our team and with our customer. Because if we're not telling our team the truth, well, they're going to go to AI and say, well, how much does an HVAC company profit? Or if they charge this much, how much should I be getting paid? The customer's going to be going, why am I getting ripped off? But if we're the source of authority, if we're the source of truth, we take control of the narrative. The reality is, though, this is a treadmill you got to die on. Once you start running, once you start going, you can't stop. The uncomfortable part is the net profit thing. It's the scariest thing we do. We're undressing, right? It's like, you're sharing everything. If you lose, it's bad. Undressing. Financially undressing. When it's good, the energy's electric. When it's bad, we try to pivot, adjust, and here we go. Here's how we're not going to do it again. And once you start being transparent, it's a point of no return. You don't have another option. Because once you start sharing and you stop, you're no longer just not sharing. You're now actively concealing. There we go. I got there. I got hooked on phonics. You're concealing the truth from your team. So there is a point of no return to this. Once you decide, hey, we're going to go down this transparency journey and we're going to start sharing with our customers, we're going to share with our team, that ledge, you've walked off of it, and here we go. Because if you stop sharing with your team, you're going to lose a little bit of trust. And not a little bit, you're going to burn a lot of trust. So here's where we can start. 1, get with your leadership team and define why you want to do this. If you want to do this at all. If you say, Tucker, you're an idiot, kick rocks, pal. Sounds great. Here we go. But if you do want to do this, 1, we'd love to chat with you about it. Anyone on my team, we can talk your ear off about this. We're all talkers. Get with your leadership team, whether it's the ownership team, your managers, whoever. Define why you want to do this. For us, it was we want our team to know what the score is. That's where it started, and then it iterated into, well, we also want our customers to know what the score is and why we charge what we charge. And, well, the rest of the industry is not doing this, so hell, we better just, if they're 10 yards behind us, let's make it 100. Let's just keep doing the thing. Build a high-level P&L. Like I said, you don't need to share every gritty detail of overhead or every gritty detail of owner's draw or whatever it is. Build a high-level P&L. What was the revenue per department? What was the cost of goods per department? Let's see what our gross profit was per department. Lump your overhead. There you go. Protect what matters. Don't share exact overhead lines. You don't have to do that. The overhead is, everyone knows what's in it. But you don't have to share and reveal exactly that. The transparency with your team is going to earn enough trust that, hey, once we walk down to the net profit line, like, I'm not lying about the net profit line. The net profit line is real. What's in that overhead? There's a lot of things that go into that overhead, right? All of us know that. Any month, it could be a random expense that's like, crap. All right, well, here we go. So you got to take a bite of the apple sometimes. But build a high-level P&L. Tie incentives into it. So whether it's profit sharing or your scorecards or however you're going to build the game, how people can win. Because it's dang fun to play for a winning team, and it's dang fun to root for a winning team. So we need to define and show our team how they can win and how they can help us win. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. So if we want to go far in this industry, we need a team who's willing to jump in the boat with us, damn the consequences, and start rowing. And the only way that we get that level of buy-in is by giving them transparency and treating them as if they are worthy of trusting for that transparency. There's no waiting period. If somebody gets hired on, we're not waiting to making them sit outside the profit sharing breakfast for the first 90 days until they've earned our trust and they're in it. We've had people get hired on a Tuesday and we have profit sharing breakfast on the 4th Friday of every month. Cody, if you guys plan a random shop visit, I would highly recommend the 4th Friday of the month, 7 a.m. at the install warehouse. That's also, if a large portion of you are deciding to come, let me know and we'll buy more food. But anybody's welcome to come to that. Like any of you guys, if y'all want to come talk, see the contractor, the contractor shop tour, whatever, Yes, sir. We can make it happen. Let's wait for a good month.
That would be there on that.
No, yeah. Hey, our oldest brother Will, he has a somebody said I want to see a bad month. Our oldest brother Will, he always talks about this with new hires. He wants to see people lose. I want to see you lose, just once.
See how I respond.
I want to see how you respond, because that tells me all the character we need to know about somebody. So we tie the incentives to it, then we take it to the customer. Then so these first 4, this is all internal, guys. This is stuff we can start tomorrow with our team. We can roll it out with our team. We can make a lot of changes, and our customers are probably going to be none the wiser other than probably the level of experience they get from it, because now your team is bought in. They know why they're doing what they're doing. And then we take it external. Once we're comfortable, confident, and secure in why we've done it internally, well, now we can shift another gear, grab that 6th gear, and take off and take it to that customer and say, hey, here's why we charge what we charge. Here's what our average pricing is. Here's why it costs this much. Oh, you want to know why the air conditioner, average cost went up by 45% in the last 18 months? Well, here's why. We have a labor shortage that's 5 to 1. 5 that retire, 1 enters their place. Plumbing is upside down even more than that. It's 6 to 1. Oh, you want to know why an air conditioner costs this much? Well, it's because we have a 50% tariff on tin, copper, and steel that hasn't been removed even though the tariffs have been paused. But you have to take control of the narrative. And the giants in your area, the PE giants, they're not going to do it. The chuck in a truck in your area ain't going to do it. There's a beautiful needle that we can thread for the foreseeable future, because I don't know that it's closing anytime soon. If we take control of the narrative, if we start writing basically our own destiny forward, we're going to capitalize and gain market share because of it. This is how you leverage transparency. This is how you weaponize the truth and win. Thank you so much. Yes, ma'am. Yeah. Microphone.
I'll take it right out as fast as I can.
I'm curious how you would respond. So, like many people in this room, I'm sure that you guys follow.
That's not.
I follow a lot of other contractors on like TikTok and social media and stuff, and there was this whole like thread that I'm watching where a guy's talking about price. Like, why are you charging this? Da, 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 you know, the whole thing. And the customer's like, or well, I guess first I should say is the contractor tried to defend his price and talk about, well, it's not just the 10 minutes and the $25 part.
Yep.
You know, I've got overhead, da, da, da. And the customer's reaction was, why, your overhead is not my problem.
Yep.
It shouldn't be included in the price.
100%.
Which is like
Mind-blowing.
outrageous, right?
Repeat the question.
Like,
Yeah.
I think that the cost of a shirt at Walmart is literally just the cost of a shirt.
Yeah, so basically,
But how would you respond to that? Just curious.
yeah, so if we had, so in the example, the contractor was responding to somebody saying this,
Yes.
I would not respond to that. So my response is not responding to that. My response is we're going to take that question and we're going to make our own piece of content off of it and post it. So we're going to run it organically, because if it got traction from this guy posting it, sure, we're going to get a little less. However, I don't want to start, because if somebody's posting online and they have that attitude, right? Like more often than not, if they're posting a why does it cost this much attitude, we're just going to get in an argument. What I would rather be is thread it's called like the educational avenue, which is I would rather be able to educate with an ask in it, which is, whenever it comes to buying an air conditioner, y'all are just going to see me turn into a YouTube video real quick. This is like a hook. This is Bryce has a camera on me right now. So the hook that we would do right now is like, I'm going to look at this camera. Okay. So it's 2026, the clocks have rolled forward, and here you are looking at buying a new air conditioner. And you're looking at it, why does it cost so much more? And here's what's gone into it. We have tariffs, we've got overhead, we've got labor shortages, da-da-da-da-da. And then we're going to release that piece of content as its own long-form video, and then we're also going to chop it up into shorts, and then those shorts are going to have asks at the end of them. It's like, hey, and if you want to see what it costs to get an estimate for XYZ product, click the link below, scan the QR code, give us a little bit of information. You can get an estimate in just a couple minutes.
How would you respond if a customer said that in the home? Hey, given that we charge this margin.
Yeah.
And the customer threw at you, why is your overhead my responsibility?
Colby, go ahead.
If I burn down your house, because the companies that don't charge overhead, if something bad happens, what happens?
They're not going to be there long enough to service the warranty on the equipment.
Yeah, my overhead is your peace of mind.
Yeah, my overhead's your peace of mind.
My overhead is your peace of mind, because at the end of the day, if God forbid anything bad to happen, but my overhead allows for me to take care of my customers as best as possible, so that whenever something does happen, I can take care of it.
I can say yes.
I want to do what's right.
Yeah, yeah, and also,
You know, you have two of my technicians behind me, and one's like, oh, I love that, I'm gonna say that. The other one's like, I'm just gonna throw it to burn down their house.
That's all he
Here's another question. How many of you actually burned down?
hey, hold on. I got a real contractor story on this one. So if you're not recording, I don't know. So Oklahoma is a single consent state. So I don't know about any other states. Oklahoma is a single consent state. So we record in the home. We have a record on our phones. We're recording at all times. Okay. If you're not doing this actively, I would suggest finding a partner who allows you to do so. It's a CYA. We had a technician roll into a condo, goes in there, working on the furnace, realizes, holy crap, this heat exchanger is absolutely gutted out. I mean, it's just cracked all the way down, rust all the way through. I can't leave this thing running. Okay, turns the gas off, locks out, tags out, talks to the tenant, says, hey, I had to turn the gas off, put a lockout tag out on it. Here's why. We have the recordings of the pictures. We have the pictures as well. He said, I'm going to call your landlord. I'm going to tell them the same thing. Thankfully called on a recorded line. 3 weeks later, we get a phone call from a lawyer. Says, hey, this says that you were the last contractor to work on this house. This house is now burned down. We said, hold the phone there, Captain. Here you go. He said, thank you so much. You will not be included in this suit. So if you're not actively recording, do that. That's just free bit of advice. Yes, sir.
Are y'all using Gorilla for that, or is that?
So right now we're using Service Titan. They just rebranded it. Field Pro. Field Pro. And like any Service Titan product, they're very proud of it. Yes, sir.
Guys, along those lines, if you don't know or haven't heard of, there's recording devices aside from your phone.
Plod.
Like Plod, which you can take and then transcribe or summarize in
Yep.
She's got one, I got two, but they're all over the place.
Yeah.
These state of Georgia, I think, is single site too. But again, it's also a training tool.
Yes.
Because now these guys, I'm sure, can take this information and go, hey, Jessica, you said these things. Let's talk through this. Let's work through how we have that conversation about your overhead.
Yeah.
Because obviously you had a struggle when you were talking with Joey about this, and so let's talk through this.
And
She's going to be on board, right, because she knows she's being recorded, but now it's a training opportunity, which his team has bought in on.
And also, there's no, no thing is an island, okay? So we got CYA out of that, right? Like, obviously, we had proof that we didn't burn this house down. But also, what we can do, and talking about, the transparency advantage of it all, is to your web dev team. So Bryce and I, we in-house this, but to your web dev team, you can then send a transcript of the call, run it in Claude, GPT, whatever, pull in the invoice summary, write a blog that says, in Norman, Oklahoma, we performed XYZ service call, technician found XYZ problem, and it cost XYZ amount. Well, now that's adding training data for the LLMs to pick up. Now we have a contractor in Norman, Oklahoma cost $547 according to Yarbrough and Sons. That is an active citation that we have. It costs us nothing other than the time it took to write the blog. Write the blog. Write the blog. Yes, sir.
All right. Dad has the company, the three bad brothers that you know so well, you, right? And then you guys started off with what to make you start drinking the Kool-Aid with Service Nation Alliance, and who was your coach to get you really, really good with your financials?
Yeah, so the question being, what made me, Will, and Colby shave our head, drink the Kool-Aid, and jump into the Service Nation? I think drinking the Kool-Aid, it must be an Oklahoma thing.
Right.
Wearing a purple Nike set.
Yeah, I'm close. And what was the decision point, and who was our coach? Decision point was 2017, 2018, or really by 2018, all three brothers, me, Will, and Colby. I'm the youngest, Colby's the middle. He's about 4 years older than me, and then Will's the oldest. He's 6 years older than me. We knew that we needed to grow the company. We were doing about $4.5 million-ish a year at that time, so 2018. And we also lost a bunch of money in 2018. And now it was a kind of a liar's loss a little bit. We robbed money to build a building next to us and cash flowed the money. Yeah, it's just, Kim, don't listen to that. It's a little bit of a liar's loss, but we lost money nonetheless. And we sat down, we had a conversation about, hey, if this thing is going to support us the way that we want it to, we got to grow. And also, if this thing's going to support our team the way that we want it to, we got to grow. And then so Dad had been getting calls and mailers from Service Nation for 100 years, and finally just decided, all right, you know what? We'll go. And John and Vicky were our first coaches. And so we got hooked up with them, and then have bounced around, have had multiple different coaches through the years, worked with Tom in passing, never officially, but worked with the Bufords, the Martins, and so really we've worked, just bouncing ideas off of all the other coaches, the folks in the room, me and Cody talk trash, but we also share pretty much everything that we are doing that works. And so it's that part of it that attracted us and has kept us for so long, is because the community around the Service Nation. Yeah. Anything else? Nothing?
I'll add.
Colby?
I wanted to say this yesterday. I just want to, as a reminder, you guys are sitting in a lot of these rooms and you're hearing from the so-called experts, the vendors. I just want to remind you guys that you guys are the experts sitting in the chairs.
Yep.
And make sure you're having conversations with contractors, even in your area. It's like, for example, Cody and Oklahomans, we're sharing Scott. We're sharing. He's in Yukon. We're 30-minute drive from each other.
Mm-hmm.
And so we share everything with the guy, with our little Oklahoma community. Man, we're strong.
We're out kicking our coverage.
And so I just, as an encouragement to you guys, talk to other contractors.
Yep.
Because that's where we learn the most.
Well, also too, I think the other thing is, don't be afraid to try something and pivot. So your team wants to grow. Your team wants to work in a more successful company. It's fun. They get to be a part of a winning organization. And the only way that we grow, we heard it from the folks who won all the awards, but the leader has to grow. We have to raise the lid. And the way we raise the lid is we try some stuff. You don't grow muscle by thinking about doing a deadlift. You grow muscle by doing a dang deadlift. In the same way in business, we got to try things and be transparent with your team. Hey, we're going to try this out. We've got a new performance pay package that we're rolling out to some of our installers. We got 2 guinea pigs. Like, hey, we're going to try this out. You're the guinea pig, but we're going to take care of you. We're going to make sure that you're taken care of, but work with us here.
I'm gonna keep adding.
Yeah.
So what are you guys doing to grow yourselves now?
What are we doing to grow ourselves now? So one, we're constantly.
Let's say on yourself, it's not.
Yeah. The personal side.
Yes, sir.
So what are we doing to grow personally now? So one, it's constantly having conversations with folks who are a step ahead of where we want to be. Looking for people who are doing something. And by step ahead, at these conferences, Joe and Tanya and I, we sat down and we talked about this. At these conferences, it's fun and easy to kind of peacock around, right? You get here, the truth is back home. Kind of get to puff your chest out. I have the greatest company in the world. We're doing $1 billion a year, and our net profit is just unbelievable.
It's always a story.
Right? Dirty little secret. Having coached some companies, don't believe anything you hear until you see somebody's net profit.
Yeah.
People love to talk top line. They don't ever want to talk about what their net profit looks like. So at these conferences, take it with a grain of salt. Look for people who are doing it. So that when I say a step ahead, I don't necessarily mean like, oh, well, this company's doing 20 million, so I'm going to go talk to them because they're so much bigger than me. I'm saying like, okay, well, the Norquests are really kicking ass with their caricature, their mascot that they've got and their branding that they're rolling out. Like, we could use some work on that. I'm going to go, they're ahead of me in that regard. I'm going to go talk to them. I'm going to go figure out what the heck they're doing. Scott and his team in Yukon, they got great culture. They got great buy-in. Their team is a unit. He had service techs doing installs just the other day because his install crew was sick / out of town. He had service techs who were willing to jump in and say, here we go. Maybe I don't think that my techs would be willing to do that. I got to go talk to Scott and see, hey, what's the magic sauce here? How do I make this work? It doesn't have to be, well, this is a giant. I got to go talk to him. But it's find people who are doing something a little bit better than you and go challenge yourself with it. And then obviously, it's just like leaders are readers. Like you only get one life. But if you read, you can live multiple lives. And so you have one decision, which is what to do with your time. And how do you leverage time? You can either spend a decade being a dumbass and figuring it out on your own, or you can talk to somebody smarter than you and read a book that you maybe hadn't thought of, and you can be better in a year than what would have taken you a decade to figure out on your own. And so find people who are smarter than you, try to be the dumbest guy in the room, and read a whole heck of a lot.
Well, you have to continue going on coaching right now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what are you guys working on?
Yeah. So right now Colby is kind of taking the bull by the horns of some opportunity management, really trying to double down on getting the most out of every call that we're on, looking at total flip rate, total conversion rate. We've got a coach working directly with Colby. And then Will and I, we're in transition. So I've been our CFO and our GM for years past. We adopted a call-by-call management model last year, which allowed Will and Colby to both get out of the field and quit selling. We are now selling completely from behind the desk. We have one residential project manager working with 14 technicians right now. And so it's allowed him to scale very quickly. He can run 8-9 estimates in a day as opposed to 3 estimates.
He ran eight calls in 4 hours.
Yeah, so.
8 conversations, 4 hours.
Yeah, and we're averaging about a 55% close rate on those, so I haven't seen a dip. And so I fired myself. We made the collective ownership team decision, me, Will, Colby, and Dad, to fire me as GM and move Will over to GM because Will is a much more systems-driven individual, much more SOP. How do we do this? Why do we do this? I suck as an implementer and an integrator. I'm a good idea guy, but holy, I'll get it 60% of the way there, and I'm like, yeah, that works. It's fine.
That's great.
Yeah, so Will and I are actively transitioning there of I'm getting stuff off of me from the GM. And really, we haven't had a GM, so it's like Will's just kind of pioneering that role for us as well. So it's like, hey, here's the 30% of the GM job that I was actively doing well, and here's the 70% that we just haven't had in place. Let's go figure it out. Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
I love everything you said about your growth and everything, but also you mentioned too, like car dealerships are doing it. Like other industries also. What are they doing? What's working? How does that apply to us?
So what are other industries doing?
Like, yeah. Like you guys have done a good job of that.
So
looking around outside.
the biggest thing that this is like society just writ large. We have more hunger for information than we've ever had, ever. If you look at like total hours of videos produced on YouTube a day, I mean, it's a couple 100 million hours every day are uploaded, something like that.
It's taking over traditional TV.
A couple million hours of YouTube videos are uploaded every now. Most of them are garbage, right?
Yeah.
They're never going to rise to the top. But because society is so hungry for information, and like car dealerships, they were kind of forced into it, right? Like because of the dealership laws and all that, like they were forced to show their pricing pretty quickly. And also too, that just became the expectation. But car dealerships aren't hurting because of it. They're making more money. In the last 4 years, they've sold, I think the last 4, don't quote me on this, but my brain kind of works a little bit like a FedEx log. I got pretty good recall. So it's something close to this if it's not directly on. Is in the last 4 years, car dealerships have sold more cars in that 4-year period than they did in the 15 leading up to it on the upper third end of car value. So it's like on that mid-level to high, they have sold more cars in that range than they did in that 15 years prior. So people aren't scared of spending money, clearly. But what they do want is clarity of what they're spending their money on. And so I think the more ammunition we can give our team, I'm getting a scam call from the IRS. On speaker.
Yeah. April 15th.
Yeah,
My big
yeah.
reason.
So really though, like I think looking at the like other industries, I don't know that we did. Bryce probably looks more at other industries than I do. But really, we look at more marketers, like people leading the thought process in marketing. So it's like, if you look at like a Gary Vaynerchuk, Alex Hormozy, any of those guys, like they give away the farm, right? Like they tell people their playbook. They tell people how they're doing, what they're doing, why they're doing it. And they objectively have a financial incentive not to do that. But they're going to do it anyway because they know people aren't going to do it. But people like feeling educated. They like feeling in control. And the more we can make someone's like scroll time, or like getting an instant estimate on their website, like the more we can make that feel like productivity and not paperwork, the better off we're going to be. And so the more information we have out there that arms customers, that educates them, the better off we're going to be. And that's just the gamble that we have, right? Like we could be wrong. Like Bryce and I have had this conversation a lot of times, like doing the marketing thing that we're doing a lot of times, like there's not a lot of people doing what we're doing in the marketing space. And so either we're right or we're really, really wrong. Because when you look around and there's no one else around you, you're like, okay, I'm either on the right road or we're misguided here. But we've got the proof in the pudding for us of growth has followed.
Yeah.
All right, guys, thank you so much. Tucker, great job.
Thank y'all.
Obviously, we could talk for hours on this, and